So, Chris, there's something you wanted to discuss with me that we didn't get to on the show we just recorded.
Well, you brought something to my attention this week. You sent me a text that you were watching something, and I tuned into it because it's of interest to both of us, something from our past and I guess our present. But it's the mayoral election of Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
My beloved Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the greatest city on earth.
Okay. Yeah.
So we watched the debate. I watched it. You said you watched maybe 10 minutes of it?
Maybe 10 minutes.
And the debate was among the three candidates, the incumbent, Paul Tenhaken, and his challengers, Tanisa Islam and David Zokaitis. Now, David Zokaitis, we have a history with. He's, I guess we could call him a friend of the show.
Yeah.
On the old show, we talked with him at length, probably on the wrong night for him, because this was the last time he ran for mayor, his first time. And the signatures were due the next day.
The signatures to get him on the ballot.
Yes. And he ended up not being on the ballot because he didn't acquire enough signatures. He did acquire enough signatures, but they were unable to invalidate the, I think, 200 that were necessary to get on the ballot.
So he had 200 signatures, but they couldn't validate all of them?
I think he had 206. And they tried to validate them. They were not successful in enough cases to eliminate him from the candidacy.
That sounds shady on someone's behalf. I don't know.
Well, at the time, he went on KSFY the next day and blamed it on the day laborers he hired to collect the signatures. Now, the night before, you and I were talking.
That's not going to win you many votes.
It was an unfortunate...
You know what? It was all these people I hired from Home Depot that fucked up, not me.
It was unfortunate for him, but I feel like we were partially to blame for this.
Well, yeah, we were distracting him at the moment when he needed to be getting these signatures.
Yeah, wasting his time. And I think I asked him, and it was just a formality. I thought he was going to tell me, oh, yes, that's been taken care of weeks ago.
Right.
I said, you have enough signatures, right? And he said, well, almost. So I said, why are you wasting your time talking to us? You should have your daughters out in front of the Hy-Vee right now.
Right.
And to him, it was all in the bag. It was all in hand. He was going to get the signatures, no problem. And that wasn't the case. But now he is on the ballot.
And just to be sure that he didn't have enough time, we wasted another hour of his time by accusing him of plagiarism.
Yeah, he has a campaign song. I think he's used it this time as well, called David Z for Mayor.
Yeah.
David Z for Mayor. David Z for Mayor.
Steve Rees doesn't care. I forget the lyrics. But.
I got something to say here. David Z for Mayor. Fantastic song.
Yeah.
And he had also made a music video. This is where he spent most of his campaign money. He made a music video where he fights zombies.
Yeah.
And the zombies were a stand-in for the corruption in city politics.
Oh, I didn't pick up on the... okay.
There was an undertone.
Oh, okay.
That suggested that was his duty, to fight the quote-unquote zombies.
Okay.
Kind of the undead who are running the city. And that's where most of the campaign budget went. And it got some traction.
Yeah, but it turns out that it may have been based on a previous song. Much like, never mind, but...
Well, that actually was a separate campaign song he did the zombie video for.
Oh, okay.
But his main campaign song was David Z for Mayor.
Yeah.
So, a friend of the show, a part of the show at that time, and hopefully a part of the show again, Nick Doritos Guy Vollmer, calls up that night and accuses David Zokaitis of, he calls up as an old blues musician,
Right.
who said that he performed his song at Canary Stadium in 1984, which is where our minor league baseball team plays.
Okay.
And his song was Braided Deformed Hair. Braided Deformed Hair. Because when you get too many cornrows, it deforms your hair.
Yeah.
Apparently. So that was this blues musician's concern. And this is what he's wasting his time on. The night before, he has to submit his signatures.
Yeah, and he didn't seem too concerned about the accusations of plagiarism or his ballots or I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, but oh wow.
Well, I can say this. The main reason I wanted to have him on the show is because he's there's an amazing television show in Sioux Falls. It's called the City Council meetings on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
And there's part of the meetings is something that's actually in the state charter, where you have to accept public input anytime the council and the mayor convene. So there's half an hour. Citizens get time to come up to the podium and address the council and the mayor as a body. Now, you can't do anything political. You can just suggest things or say things you want to look at, you want them to address in some way in their position. And David Zokaitis' his presentations were very colorful. He'd have PowerPoint. He'd have photography. Look at this. Here's a picture. I want to end on this because we should all be positive and love nature. Here's a picture I took on the bike trail the other day, and look at this sunset. And thank you.
Yeah, I got that same kind of vibe watching the little bit of the debate that I watched.
Yeah.
He's trying to encourage positivity and open-mindedness, and he's not sweating the details like Mayor Chen Haken. This is what I got from it.
Right.
Yeah. And when I lost my train of thought earlier about things that he wasn't concerned about the last time we talked to him, one of them was your endorsement. Yeah. He could take it or leave it, frankly.
It took some convincing. I think he rejected it twice.
Yeah.
Which was very bizarre because no one had endorsed him.
It was his only endorsement, and he was very reluctant.
And I said, as I said then, and I'll say now, I'm the most famous and beloved man in South Dakota. Why would you not accept this endorsement? And eventually he conceded. Well, I guess he conceded twice. But on that night, that was his only concession, was that he will accept my endorsement. So we were very pleased. So, yeah, David Zokaitis, there was an interesting moment in the debate when I think it came to, because Tanisa Islam, she's all about inclusivity.
Sure.
And diversity.
Yeah.
And those are things that Sioux Falls has.
It's a growing city. It's an expanding city.
It's a growing city.
You're bringing in all different demographics, just like any big city in the United States right now. And that's her chief concern.
Yeah. Her chief concern is having 4% of the population represented as though they're 90% of the population.
Well, we see that all the time. And Mayor Chen Hagen's concern, which I got from my limited watching of this debate, is
10 minutes.
He's all about, look, here's what I've been doing for the last 4 years.
Right.
It's a lot of work. I don't think these two, whatever. David Zokaitis' concern seemed to be, I don't know, rainbows? I don't know.
Tiny houses. He's in favor of tiny houses.
Okay.
Now, the problem is with the Zokaitis campaign is they want to put tiny houses in neighborhoods with high property values to kind of even things out. But all that does is drastically drop property values.
Sure.
And the people who bought their $1 million houses, because the housing market is just skyrocketing, especially in a place like Sioux Falls right now. And that's going to make their investment, if they see it that way, basically worthless if there's a hut next door that someone paid $300 for.
Well, I mean, a tiny house, I think you're still paying. If you tried to put a small trailer, you'd still have to pay for all the sewer hookups and all the utility hookups, and it's still an expensive deal, but it does bring down the property value.
It does.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a concern for a lot of citizens who have way overpaid for their homes.
Yeah. But I did not know that was his signature cause. But
that's one of them. Affordable housing is something people like to talk about in Sioux Falls, but they never say what they actually mean by it. People say we need affordable housing, mainly politicians.
Yeah.
We need affordable housing.
Yeah.
But I think what they mean by that is, the city is growing. So there's going to be a Freddy's Steak Burgers opening.
Oh, great.
Chick-fil-A opened last year.
Wow.
These are the wages they're bringing in. The people who work there need a place to live.
Right.
Well, wouldn't necessarily need that if we supported the businesses we already have, the family-owned small businesses that we already have. I see this a lot in the Argus Leader. Almost every week, a venerable restaurant, is closing its doors. After 60-some years, the Golden Fork is out of business because of COVID. So the mayor gives the owner of the Golden Fork the key to the city, while on Twitter, he's openly campaigning for Dunkin' Donuts to open a franchise in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
And this is where he and I part ways. I think he's done a lot of great things.
No, we're talking about Mayor Ten Haken.
Paul Tenhaken, indeed.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is the three candidates running for mayor right now. Paul Tenhaken, he's from Minnesota. David Zokatis is from Pennsylvania. And Tanisa Islam, she's from Michigan.
Wow. So the people in Sioux Falls really don't care about politics that much, is what I'm getting out of that. They just let all these carpetbaggers come in there and do whatever they want.
Well, the council is filled with natives.
You know, I would say and affordable housing is a big issue. But I would think in order to make it affordable, you're looking at things like maybe a high-rise apartment. Not so much.
There are those in development.
Not so much sticking a much smaller house in between two larger ones. Is that a solution that's been tried anywhere else?
not that I know of.
No, yeah.
But David Zokatis, he's a think outside the box kind of guy.
He's a visionary.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But I don't think you have to worry about those things if you keep wages high. A lot of, and Zokatis even brought this up during the debate, that the focus should be on tech jobs, because that's a growing industry in Sioux Falls, is the tech industry. And I think I think the city itself should look to Fargo, because Fargo has done a tremendous job in becoming a tech city and embracing that, but not losing its Fargo-ness, if that means anything.
All right.
It hasn't become so big. It's catered to those jobs and those employees, but it hasn't become so big where their focus is on, people, hey, I went to Minneapolis and saw a Chipotle. I'd like one of those here. And they don't understand when you bring that kind of business in, it screws over all the small family-owned businesses in your own town that you don't have time for.
Yep.
Because you want to live like Prince. I don't know what.
I mean, I can relate.
Harrison Keeler.
I can relate as a small family business owner previously myself. I can relate. I was not so much screwed by the macroeconomic forces that you're talking about, so much as my wife was a giant. But, you know, I understand where you're coming from.
Right. Well, these are things to consider.
Yeah.
If you want to keep wages up, you focus on small business. You don't focus on trying to figure out where are the people who are going to live, who work at these places where the wages aren't as good.
Well, now that we've covered all the issues, Steve, do you feel like you're ready to give an endorsement to one of these three candidates?
Yeah, I feel like I am, but it can't be wholehearted because of all the things I've said in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would like to throw my considerable South Dakota weight behind the incumbent mayor of Sioux Falls, Paul Tenhaken.
You know what? As much as I have no horse in this race, I would have to agree with you.
Well, you saw the debate. You saw what he's up against. And every question he was asked, he had an answer for.
He had an answer.
And he's a smooth politician. And I will say that mayor of Sioux Falls was the first elected office he had ever run for.
Wow, okay. He did not come off as somebody doing any kind of political doublespeak to me, though. To me, he sounded like a guy who'd been working hard at a job for, 4 years? Is that how long the term is?
Right.
Seemed like a guy who'd been working hard at a job for 4 years and knew a lot of the ins and outs that maybe the other candidates didn't know. And they may have been speaking more in generalities to kind of score political points. And he impressed me. That's all. I don't know anything about South Dakota or Sioux Falls politics, but he impressed me in a little bit I saw of that debate.
And I will say there's something that disappoints me. During his first campaign, he spoke a lot about how you need a $15 wage. That's the livable wage in Sioux Falls. So those are the jobs you have to focus on that pay at least that.
Right.
But then he encourages all these chain places to come in. And really, people need jobs. It's not going to go to the teenagers necessarily you want them to go to. Like, ideally, that would be a job like working at Chick-fil-A. You do that in high school. You put money away, you set up your adulthood. That's not what's happening.
Okay. I mean, there's some people who become a manager of a Chick-fil-A and they can make a nice career for themselves, but I don't. Maybe I lost the thread of this conversation.
I'm not talking about management. I'm talking about employees.
Okay. All right.
Okay, now we're looking at something here. Yeah.
Is that David Z right there?
No, that is someone else. Now,
is that John Tesh?
I think Jim is saying that. The drummer from Tool.
Oh.
Jim is saying that, see, I have bad eyes, Jim. You have to tip us off to this sort of thing. The drummer from Tool resembles David Zokaitis.
Okay.
Now, Eric Todd, when we first introduced Zokaitis to the larger world, he pointed out that David Zokaitis looks like a Chris Elliott character.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Yes, he does. God, Eric is great.
David also had longer hair at the time. He had trimmed it right before we talked to him. His daughter made him do that so he would look more mayoral.
Sure.
I don't think he has bad ideas.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure he would do a good job as mayor. But what I said to him the last time he ran, and I would say this again, he's the kind of guy who everybody says they want to run for office.
Right.
A person who understands the needs of the populace and thinks of those first. A regular guy who just wants to change things for the better. But when it comes time when you get into the polling place, he's not the guy you vote for. And I think that's a shame. And that was why I endorsed him the first time he ran. Because I think it would have said something about America if he became mayor.
Yeah.
Something positive about the political process. I mean, everybody likes to say this is the kind of guy we want. When someone like that runs, nobody votes for him.
Well, at least a couple years later, you got your wish, and Donald Trump was elected president because he was a populist candidate that people felt they could relate to. So.
I believe it. No, Trump was already president at this point, and I was concerned that would hurt him. That Trump's election would hurt a guy like Zokaitis because they think, well, we're not going to try this again.
Yeah. Seems to be a lot of people who want to try it again, though. So I don't know. I don't know.
But do you have any other questions about Sioux Falls politics?
No, I don't.
Well, you were going to say something. What was it?
No, I was literally not going to say a word.
All right. Well, in that case, anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, I think we covered this subject. You know, this isn't our regular show, the Rees Company.
No, this is So Sioux Me, SIOUX.
Yeah, this isn't our regular show where we review old TV movies and talk about things in our lives and all that kind of stuff. This was just to talk about this mayoral election. So we've covered it, I think.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. So watch the Rees Company. And
also vote on Tuesday.
Yes.
We don't have a sign-off for So Sioux Me.
No, we don't. So we're just going to peter out.
All right. Well, I think we did it. Thank you so much, Chris Morganti, and we'll discuss more of this at another time. Maybe we'll get Paul Tanakin to discuss things with us further at some point.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.